I have a bunch of studio stuff for shooting miniatures, some great lenses, some great lighting, a lot of great flash stuff, a lot of stuff. But I recently gave myself the challenge of what's the easiest and cheapest way to create a really good product shot. Something like you might put on eBay. And here's what I found, and I'm giving myself the challenge here of using the worst lens I have, which is a kit lens. This is an 18-70 Nikon lens from a kit, so it's a DX lens. The only camera I have here that will tether and show you what's going on the screen, which is useful, is the Nikon D700. But it's in crop sensor mode to work with this lens, so it's not, this is an older camera, it's not, you can expect exactly the same results from a cheap, pretty much any Nikon. So let's get started. Let's put it in program mode and just take a shot of this car and see what it does. That's pretty awful. Flash on. Again, pretty awful. So clearly, you're not gonna wow anybody with just the basic out-of-the-box camera and the out-of-the-box flash. So we're gonna have to add some light. Now that is not as expensive and difficult as you would think. This is a piece of junk Altura flash, which I think was $35 on Amazon. The nice thing about it is, let's see if that's showing up. It's got a manual plus and minus to change the power of the flash, which is really good. The fact that this has buttons is really good. The other thing it has is slave modes, S1 and S2. That means this flash can automatically go off if it sees another flash. So in that case, that flash went off because it sensed the flash on the camera. So even right away, you can do crazy things and influence the photo just by making that flash fire this flash. So that's a start. Honestly, if you're going to buy one flash, I would buy this one, the YN560, the 3 or the 4. Because as you grow, what you do is you buy that as well. This is maybe $60, this is $40 I think. This goes on top of the camera and can control multiple ones of these, and even you can control what strength you want them all to be firing. So if you get into studio work, absolutely ideal. We're going to use this because it's the cheapest one I have. It's got a little diffuser there, which is useful. I'm going to use that too. So let me see. Let's just do exactly the same setup first, but with different light. The first thing I'm going to do is turn the camera to fully manual. Fully manual. And I'm going to set the shutter speed at 250. So set the shutter speed at, say, go for 200, just in case your camera doesn't go as high as 250 with flash sync. Because really, this flash goes off for 1,000th of a second. The setting on the camera just has to be open long enough to capture that flash. And here's something crazy about light. Let me see, I'm in manual 250th, and I am an f/4.5. I'm just going to take a few test shots with different settings. So that's too dark, obviously. If I open the lens up as wide as it will go, which actually it was, that's as good as I can get at 250th with f4, 4.5. If I go to f13, you can see that is pretty much dark. If I keep going, f22, that is black, pretty much black. Now this is crazy interesting, awesome stuff, because what people don't realize is when you look at all these shots of models, say that they're almost taken in darkness, they're not. They're taken just like this. What if I put that flash on? The flash barely even makes a difference. But when you look at cool model shots, possibly what you're looking at, nope. So sometimes that is the sensor that sees this flash, so if it's not pointing in the right direction, This is fun playing with light. Too low. If I got to full strength here, or is it not firing? Still direct fire. Nope, that flash is not firing. That's why I said it was a piece of junk. Nope. Why? This is why I wouldn't recommend buying this, because it's just not picking up the fact that the flash is hitting it. Nope. Okay, let me switch to this real quick. Batteries. Switch it on. Put it in mode. What am I doing here? Mode. S1. Let's see if that works. Yep. So see now that pretty much, because there's what happens with just the camera. There's what happens when the camera flash is firing off another flash. Now we're still not getting the effect we want, but can get some cool effects. And I'll probably do another whole video of stuff like this. You can have fun like that. So, but let's get back to the point. What we're going to do also is, so most cameras, if you go into the settings, Nikon, it is bracketing flash, flash sync speed, flash control for built-in flash is manual. Set it to manual. It's already set. So I have set the flash here to be 1/28th of the normal power, so that all it is doing, that's why these shots were so dark when I had the flash on. All this is doing is putting off enough light to make that flash go. And I think it's worth saying, I'll put it in a comment earlier, when I say manual settings, I mean manual ISO also. Put it to the lowest ISO, in this case 200. So we're still not getting an absolutely awesome product shot. Flash on. Still not something I would post on eBay. So let's do something different. I'm going to put this flash on a base. Often they come with a base. And I'm going to do this. So this is a box specifically created for product photography, but really it's nothing more than if you hung a white sheet, over something, like created a box with a white sheet, you've got the same setup. So we've got a kind of a tint of white, and that's important. So let's just go for the good shot. I'm going to put that in there, and that is that. (128th power right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put that little diffuser over, and I'm going to set that in the tent facing straight up and take a shot. Now, because this flash is up, it's going to fire that flash. That flash is going to fire straight up, and it's going to bounce around this box. Let's see what we get. Too dark. Also, what you'll see is I've put that piece of paper, I've turned it up at the back so that we have more of an infinity setting. There we go, apart from that little corner up there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the strength of the flash. So I've gone from a 28th of its strength to a 16th of its strength, which is 4 times more light. Getting there. An 1/8 of its strength. It's double the light. Getting there. Those black marks are actually ugly marks on the paper, which is a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to go for half power of the flash. Too much. 1/4 power of the flash. That is not bad. Now I've got the shadow. The main light is bouncing off the top and coming down and giving a shadow to the front. So actually it would probably look better like this. So the shadow's coming off the back. Yep, that looks pretty good. It's a bit over bright, but I mean the difference between these shots, the difference that this does, and this isn't special, this is fabric in a nice thing that creates a cube. It's nothing special. If you did the same thing with a sheet back as well, just a white sheet, you get the same result. If you got a big box this size that had a white inside, or if you painted the inside white or put stuck paper on the inside, same result. It's just about reflecting the light. The nice thing about this is you can do some fun experimenting by going through the box as well. That white balance is not great. That's pretty good too. But you see the difference there? So we have a harsh, see the harsh shadow? Because the light is not bouncing around as much, it's still bouncing around compared to, check that shadow out compared to that shadow, which is, I want a little bit more light. You've got 2 ways to get more light too. The shutter speed doesn't really make any difference, but if you change the aperture, I've gone from f22 to f20, which makes the aperture slightly bigger. That's another way that I can let more light in. So there's just that popping white. So what else? I mean, it works. Let's see what else we shoot here. Let's just use this crappy flash. It works. So that's 1 flash. I'll go over something in a sec. But you can see that even with a total junky lens, you can get really, really good results. And it's fall off a log easy. Now I'm going to get some, I've lost my infinity background with this shot, as you can see. But pretty much anything you want to shoot just going to come out great. So that's it. So in summary, camera on full manual mode. That means take off auto ISO if it's on, put it on the M mode of the camera so you control the shutter speed and the aperture. Shutter speed doesn't really matter very much, but put it put it at 200. If you get weird banding on this, it means your camera can't capture the flash, so go down to 100. If 200 works, you're all set. Put the aperture is a matter of playing around. So that's f20 right now. If I put it in f5, it's all going to let in too much light. And your light, you have two things to play with. You have your aperture. So if I go to f20, I'm about right. If I go to a stop, if I go to f16, I'm going to have too much light. But to compensate, let's go down even more. To compensate, I can make the flash less powerful. Right now the flash is on 1/4 of its power. If I go down to a 1/16 of its power, I start to balance that out. So those are the two things you can play with. The strength of the flash and the aperture. And something that bounces light all the way around, flash pointing straight up in that light reflective thing, and you're all set. There's those settings. That's worth noting too. This flash has a zoom setting. So you can set, if this flash senses that you're using a telephoto, it'll do more of a tunnel of light along where that telephoto will be focused on. Right now it's set to 24 millimeters, like a wide angle, so it's actually splaying light out even better. So that's if you have a flash that has a zoom setting, do a zoom out. The flash itself, let's see if I can capture these settings. What's that? Shooting this with a Sony mirrorless. I don't know if you're going to see that, but in Nikon it's bracketing flash, control flash, goes from manual, I think by default it's TTL through the lens, and then you can control the strength of the flash. And I'm going to the weakest 1/28th. In some cameras it's 1/28th and some it's 1/64th. But that in a nutshell is a dead easy way to create product shot. While we're here, let's just do one more fun thing. Let's leave that infinity background there. Let's grab this is a shelf offcut from IKEA. Nice shiny surface. Oops. Same exact setup. Check out that nice reflection under her feet now. So that's another thing you can play with, is be on a more reflective surface. Sorry, it's hard to judge with this lens. There we go. There we go. You have that nice reflection, which is a really nice stylized thing for product photography too. There you go. That's the cheapest and simplest way to take super professional quality photographs for product. Have a good one.